Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Profit Minds podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Stephen Kirch, creator of the Profit Minds Growth System, a unique blend of profit growth, productivity acceleration, and building robust business process for scale. In every episode, I interview entrepreneurs and small business owners from around the world with a unique story to tell. You can find the show on YouTube, LinkedIn, Apple and Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, and more. Well, hello, everyone. Today, my guest is Amber Griffiths, maker of legends, brand strategist, and igniter of personal moxie. And today, we're going to be talking about how to build your brand, attract more of your ideal clients in a totally brand-aligned way, which will expand your reach and your revenue. Welcome, Amber.
Thank you so much. I'm thrilled to be here.
Yeah. So I start every show the same way. I want to understand who you are and hear your story and understand why it is that you do what you do. How did you become a maker of legends?
It's a beautiful story. I will try to do it in 30 words or less. Um, One of the things I noticed about myself very early on, I came from a very small town and worked in one of those places that was a pharmacy in the front and a flower shop in the back. And I loved it. I worked there all the way through high school. And so much so that I thought I wanted to be a pharmacy technician when I grew up. Because I loved it. I loved working there. I would go there and work on my days off because I loved the atmosphere and I loved the people and all those things. And when I went to college, I got a scholarship and got a really great job. As a pharmacy technician, I realized that I really didn't like doing that at all. It was absolutely terrible. It was awful. I was bored. And I realized that the part of my job that I had really loved were the people because they would come in between prescriptions and flowers. They would come in on their best and worst days of their lives. And I would get to hear all their stories. I would get to understand we're getting corsages because it's the prom, or we're getting funeral arrangements because it's this, or we're doing bridal. I mean, whatever it wasn't about the stuff. It was about the people and about the connections. And so I left my scholarship and left my very fabulous outline of my life that was really just terrible for me. It was going to be beautiful on paper, but it was awful for me. And went into graphic design, went into marketing, public relations. And even after my first corporate job, I was in charge of 300 realtors. Never had my license or anything, but I got to do their marketing for them and build up a team for them. And spent 8 years doing that. And about the last 3 years of it, I kept thinking, there's got to be more. Like, I love these realtors, and for them to come and say, but I have a brand because I have this corporate logo. I said, yeah, you and 300 other people just in this office, let alone throughout the state and throughout the country, who have exactly the same resume. I've got my license from here. I've got this. How do you differentiate? What is the experience like with you? Because that's the difference. So after listening to that inside voice for way too long, because I was way too scared, there's more. There's more than bedrooms and bathrooms. Woman, get out there and help people and touch people's lives. I launched my own business, and that's been about almost 20 years now. And I love it. And even in that evolution of growing my business and learning more about who I wanted to play with and who I really didn't, it's been just the last 6 or 7 years that the legend work has really come into play, because it's so much more than who you are, what you do, and how you feel and how you show up. It's the experience that makes all the difference in the world. And with what drives me right now, and that's part of the legend work, is working with those individuals to get their voices out there, because every single voice matters. We have all been shushed at some point. We have all been told to be quiet. We're too big. You're too loud. You're taking up too much space. Be smaller. Be quieter. I mean, whatever version we have of that, we've all had something. And so it is my vision to work with, I haven't even put a number on it, because I would say 1 million women, but that's not accurate. I want them all to get out there, bigger, bolder, with purpose, and share their genius, share their mission, their goals, their vision. And because it's legend work, you don't do it on your own. So I don't have to personally touch every one of those lives. It's that ripple effect, it's that catalyst where we get to really truly lock arms and go change the world together. And I consider myself, I love going to quote unquote work. I love the people I get to play with. It's just, I don't know. It's an amazing way to be. There's my story.
Wow. And your energy is infectious, even across Zoom. And it's clear that you love what you do and you're really passionate about helping. Now, do you work exclusively with women?
No, no. Uh, Almost always it is women. Occasionally, a brave soul, a brave male man will come and say, okay, I'm open to change. Let's go play with this. Um, but really, I have found that working with women, it's more soul aligned with who I am and what I'm
Mm.
doing. Um, I have a half dozen men that I work with at any given time. Like, okay, this is my small group of very courageous, because it's not easy. Branding is so much about putting who you are out there.
Mm.
It's you have to be very brave. You have to put yourself up for judgment. You get to be assessed like that. So it's just those courageous souls that are like, no, my mission's more important than whatever ego I've got attached to this. Let's just go do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. You have to be vulnerable in order to put yourself out
Very,
there. Yeah.
very,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. So talk to me about the process of becoming a legend, right? Right. What does that look like? Are there stages that you have to go through? Uh,
It's less of a stage and more of a commitment level. The way I usually explain it is legends are not made on their own. That's not how it works. So what separates you from the celebrities and the icons is, as a legend, it's part of why I do it the way I do it is it really is about building that community. It's about community and collaboration and connection, knowing that my message is bigger than I am, and my commitment to creating something greater in the world than just me, than just my business, than just my little circle. But it's through those collaborative efforts, it's through that connection that we really, people around the world get to lock arms and lock hearts and souls and say, okay, this is also, I totally align with this. My values are in alignment with you. I am as committed to this message and this mission as you are. Let's run. Let's sprint forward on that path. And so it's through that community that really does separate those who are going to be legend. And sometimes there's two different kinds of legends, just so you know. There's two different ones. There are those who know they are born to become legend. They know that that's what their life's work is. They will move heaven and earth to get onto that stage, whatever stage they claim is their own, plant their feet firmly in the spotlight and say, okay, I'm here. Let's go do this. And then there are the people I call my reluctant legends. They are not necessarily attracted to the spotlight. They would just as soon be the man in the chair. They want to be backstage making all the things work. But the commitment to driving that mission forward, to really affecting people's lives, that's what makes them legend. So even if you never see their face is never attached to it, but they will move everything they can to make sure that that mission moves forward, and they will become legends in that. So it really is more of a commitment and devotion level than a stage. I have to work this many hours or have this much impact or do all these things. It's really that drive.
yeah. And I also love the fact that you emphasize the community aspect of you
Yeah.
can't be a legend all by yourself.
No,
Say more about that.
it's, I mean, think about it. The people who, how's the best way to describe it? If I look at the people who are saying, I really want to be big, I want to make sure I'm highly visible, I want to make a pile of money, I want to impact a lot of people, and I want my face on everything. Like it's all about their who they are, and they become highly known for that mugshot. Essentially, it's just this picture. It's not attached to anything. It's not necessarily attached to any movement or mission. It's just they're highly visible. They are my celebrities, right? It's not about a mission for them necessarily. It really is, I'm the one who's known. If I walk into a room, people know who I am. They don't necessarily know my value system. They don't know how to lock arms with me, but they know who I am. They can identify me in a heartbeat. Then there are the icons. The icons are more closely aligned with a particular mission, a particular product, a way of being. And so they have the visibility plus a connection to something. So they're usually known for that one thing. I mean, it's Colonel Sanders, it's chicken, right? I mean, it's not that, but kind of. That becomes more of an icon. But when it's legend, again, your face may never be that identifiable, depending on which kind of legend you want to be. But your mission is everything. And that's what people can align with. They see you and go, yeah, I know what she stands for. I know those things that light her up. I know the things that make her tick, and I want to be a part of that. I want to help drive that forward. So even if your face is not as identifiable and not as recognizable, your values, you lead with those values, you lead with the vision. And that's what people come in align with. And I believe, in my experience and in like what I've seen happen and what I've helped create happen, is that's the expansion. That's, you are the catalyst for this great big vision and movement. So it goes much further, much faster. There's no judgment, good, better, bad, wrong, whatever, more awesome, more fabulous, any of that. It just depends on what path you choose for yourself. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think so. The interesting thing here is the alignment with well, I'll call it a mission or vision that's bigger than yourself.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm hearing, right?
So.
The celebrity is all about me,
Yes. Yes.
right? The icon is the me interacting with the people that are in that circle or in that,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Within an industry, with a product line, with a system, like you have those people who are icons that are motivational speakers. They're really, really well known in that industry for doing that one thing, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
think there's no judgment. It's not because it's bad to be a celebrity,
No,
because
no.
people who get that kind of visibility can go forward and do great things. I tell all my clients, good people do incredible things with money. So let's just go make a couple $1,000,000 and let's just go do all the good things. So, like, good people do great things with money. And if you can do that becoming a celebrity, then there are those who will take that visibility, take that identity and run with it. But absolutely, as a legend, it is more identifying the good in the world, the deeper good, the greater change that you're making.
And it's got to be, you impact the circle that impacts the next circle that impacts the next circle, right?
Yes.
Whereas
Yeah.
the celebrity probably just that sphere, and the icon too, probably just that sphere that they're in. And I think
Yes.
the difference between the celebrity and the icon is whether it's all about them or about the message that they bring, right?
Correct.
That's,
Correct.
am
Correct.
I getting it right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
I think that it is more limited. The impact you can have is more limited as a celebrity or an icon. I don't think you have the opportunity to have the expansive reach and impact that you do as legend. Just sheer numbers would tell you that.
So how does one figure out the the movement for them as an individual to become a legend?
That's a fabulous question. It's incredible. You knew that, otherwise you wouldn't have asked it. It's such a personal decision, and it's often not the first thing that comes out. I mean, I can look at my own journey and what started in, pharmacy and English and whatever else and marketing, and became graphic design and branding and PR and kind of built on it. That's a lot of, and visibility is important to grow that. Um, it's the thing that goes deeper than your why. You've had people say, well, what's your why? Like, ask 7 levels of why. And I tell people, I'm going to ask you why till you cry, and then we're going to hug it all out and it's going to be fine. But it's like,
I
because
love that.
it's that deep, right? Well, and again, it's rhyming, so it makes me laugh. But really, for those who are legend, it's your why not. It's why can you not do this thing? It's that thing that wakes you up at 3 a.m. because you cannot stop with the ideas. It's not about a fear, other than the biggest fear is that somebody's going to run with this and you don't get to be a part of it. Or they're going to run with some idea and they're not going to do it the way that you envision it in your head and the way that's pumping the blood through your veins. Like that's one of the biggest fears, is that it won't get out. So go beyond your why and say, why can I not do this thing? How can I not be a part of this?
Yeah, I wanted to say, how can I not? It's not
Right.
why, but it's how can I not?
Exactly.
That's what I'm
Exactly.
hearing.
You can feel it. Honestly, you can feel it in your bones. It's when you wake up and you think, the first thing you think of is, I'm pushing this forward today. I'm going to connect with these people to move this forward today. How do I, because I can't not. It's the difference between, they say when you want something, you'll get up and do it on a good day when you want it. And when you're committed to it, when you're devoted to it, you can feel like absolute garbage and just want to pull up in a blanket and sleep all day. And you can't, because you absolutely must be a part of this movement. You must, everything in your body calls you to that thing.
Yeah, it's a level of dedication, a
Correct.
level of commitment that goes beyond. It really goes beyond why.
Yes. 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 Yes.
That's
Because why, somebody else could help you. Somebody else could, if it's a why, a lot of people have very similar whys. It's my kids, it's my parents, it's my history, it's my background that drives me, or I want to create something bigger for the next generation. And that's the thing too. When I say go out and change the world, sometimes the world is your community. Sometimes it's your association. Sometimes I've got legends who are in corporate, who are just changing the industry kind of from the inside out. So it's not just, the world at large, although it always leads to that when you're on the road to legend. It always leads to that bigger. But because it is in your soul, I mean, it's that thing that drives you on a cellular level that, like, I can't not do this. It's that important to me.
Yeah.
And
So
they're so fun. They're so fun to play with.
yeah. Yeah. So tell us a story or two about some of your clients that went from. I mean, maybe they didn't. See, you don't have to be a celebrity or an icon to become a
Oh,
legend.
no,
There's
absolutely
not.
not.
There's not a progression, right? It's
It's
it's.
not.
Um, so tell us a story about somebody who became
Oh,
legend that would um, be inspirational for the listeners.
there's a couple different ones that come to mind, because when you and it's part of the fabulousness of doing the work that I get to do, is that no 2 days are the same, and no two missions are the same. So I've worked with a woman who wanted to change the way we did crisis management and recovery, depression and some of the mental health recovery and trauma recovery. And she was in her, I mean, it sounds terrible, but through COVID, it was just a heyday, because there was so much opportunity to create good. So to go from a small corporate job and where she was doing some one-to-one coaching for trauma and I'm trying to, it's just a basic depression type, trauma recovery, to go from doing one-on-one to realizing that this was a bigger movement. This wasn't just something that a handful of people that she met could benefit from. And to be decided, I don't want to do this one-on-one anymore. It's not getting out there fast enough. It's not changing and helping lives quickly enough for me. And moving that out to a movement level where she has pulled in other experts. She has created a hub. So it's not just a single type therapy to have people, because no two traumas are the same and no two recovery paths are the same. So she's got now a half dozen to 10 people that she worked with inside that hub. So she's developed a community of experts and gurus that can actually help, like Sherpas up this trauma mountain, and has taken it into the podcast level, and then has expanded it into corporate. And so instead of doing one-to-one coaching, it becomes more group coaching. And then the groups get to interact with each other. And so it's become more of this movement, because instead of having a dozen people that she gets to impact every year, it's hundreds and thousands of people that she gets to impact every year. And it's just still growing, because because it's that ripple effect. Once you get into one corporation and start working with their HR people, then it just expands, and it's massive. Um, And then you have missions like I worked with a company who was kind of taken on Etsy a little bit. Like I don't want to compare them because they're incredibly different, but their whole thing was we really want to give artisans a way to express themselves. We want them to have an option to Etsy. We want to have build more of a relationship and a community for these incredibly creative artisans to come in and do their best work. We'll do some of the marketing for them, but let's create like an online marketplace where everybody gets to come and really just just shine the best they possibly can. And just by tapping into their brand, by tapping into what really mattered most to them and getting super clear, we added six figures to their bottom line in less than a year. And we didn't expand. I mean, they've got now 5 different arms of their company that are opening. They are, in fact, rivaling Etsy and getting bigger and better, which is great. And it's all in that brand aligned. I know an artisan who knows 5 artisans, who knows 20 artisans, I mean, it's that kind of expansion just by getting really clear on why you can't not do this. And then letting your voice be heard and saying, no, this is who we are. This isn't about competition or comparison. This is collaborative effort moving forward to create deeper good. It's oh my gosh, it's so fun to watch. It's
Yeah.
just fabulous.
Yeah. So one last question, and I may be opening a total can of worms here. The question that pops to mind is, are there, I'll say, common mistakes or common barriers that you have to help your clients overcome in order to really move to become a legend?
Oh, there's a handful. And I think what's really interesting, what's really exhilarating about it is that they're kind of cyclical. I I've had too many conversations with clients going, I thought I had this. I thought we'd address this and fix this and we're moving on. But because of their growth pattern, because of their expansion, it keeps coming around. And the good news is it's not actually like it's not a Ferris wheel. It's more like a spiral staircase. You really are moving
Ah,
upward and
okay.
outward
Ah,
because this
good.
time when you hit it, you have experience and you have team and you have systems in place that help address it and communicate so that it's nipped in any kind of challenge is nipped in the bud more quickly. But it seems like the growth cycle. Okay, well, we're ready to expand and we definitely need more team to get these things going. So how do we make sure that they are, because even team is a brand aligned effort. So
Sure.
it's, well, how do we hire and train in a way that we make sure that their values are aligned? We can teach systems, we can teach products, we can teach those things. What does the system look like that says, this is our brand culture? Are you a good fit? Will this work for you? Is this a good fit, not just for you, but for us and continue to be that way? So that's one of those things that keeps coming on every time they hit another growth, like plateau. It's okay. So we need more team to get the things done, but we need more money to get the things done, but we need more. And so it's just kind of all the things. But what's really great about it is when it's done in a way that's completely in alignment with who you are, when you're that clear about what you are creating and how you want to show up in the world and the experience you want to deliver to your vendors, to your customers, to everybody who works with them, the decisions are made more quickly. There's less energy and time wasted on, well, maybe because is it brand aligned or not? Does it go along with my values or not? Does it expand and get me toward my vision or not? And so the decisions that are made, even if you have to make them on bigger levels and then come back around and make them on another level, higher level, the decision-making process is faster because you are so totally in alignment with what we're creating, where we're driving.
It sounds almost intuitive.
It does. It becomes but again, that's one of those challenges because when you start, if your confidence starts to wane, your momentum slows down. So it's like, okay, but that's my gut. Do I trust my gut? And what if this is different? And so that even that you get to go back to your brand values and your culture and go, no,
Sure.
really, this is right. This isn't just a gut. This isn't just a money making thing or whatever. This gets instant gratification. This really is long term fabulous. Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. So, Amber, if somebody wanted to get in touch with you to explore more about becoming a legend,
Mhm.
how should they reach out?
Even just hearing you say it just makes me so it's just really great work in the world. and I'm thrilled to be a part of it. There's two ways that would be really great. You're welcome to come and jump into the Facebook community. Not everybody likes Facebook communities. It works really well because this is one of support and where you get to ask the questions without judgment. It really is a no shame, no blame kind of area. It's welcome to Legend. And so come and play on Facebook. And if you really are just like, I have a thing, Amber, what the heck? What do you suggest? Let's connect, let's chat. It's amber@yourbrandbydesign.com. Just reach out, email me. We'll set up a time, we'll figure it out, and just get you moving forward fast.
Great. Thanks. And that concludes our show. Thanks again to my guest, Amber Griffiths, maker of legends, brand strategist, and igniter of personal moxie. I hope you learned something about building your personal brand. I know I did. Thanks for listening. You've been listening to the Profit Minds podcast. This is your host, Dr. Stephen Kirch. Please visit www.profitminds.net for other episodes or to contact me. Thank you for your positive feedback, comments, questions, and for sharing this show with others. Thanks for listening. Have a grateful day.